Welcome to the world of ancient Greek philosophy. In this video, we dive deep into the greatest philosophical questions posed by the brilliant minds of ancient Greece. From Socrates' pursuit of self-knowledge to Plato's exploration of justice, the ancient Greeks have shaped the very foundation of modern philosophy. But how do these ancient ideas resonate today? Let's explore how the greatest philosophers of ancient Greece, including Aristotle, Epicurus, and Heraclitus, continue to influence our thinking on ethics, free will, the meaning of life, and more. Join us as we unravel profound ideas that have stood the test of time, answering the big questions of existence. From the nature of reality to the pursuit of happiness, these ancient teachings are as relevant now as they were centuries ago. In this video, we also examine how modern philosophers like Nietzsche, Foucault, and Descartes have built upon these ancient ideas, giving us a bridge between the ancient and the contemporary. Are you ready to question everything? Let's explore the greatest philosophical dilemmas of ancient Greece and discover how they still resonate today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation. What is the nature of reality? In Greek philosophy, Heraclitus famously stated, "Everything flows," emphasizing the constant change that defines reality. On the other hand, Parmenides argued, "What is, asserting that reality is unchanging and eternal. This debate between change and permanence has echoed throughout history, particularly in modern philosophy. Immanuel Kant, for example, divided reality into the phenomenal world, which we perceive, and the noumenal world, which exists beyond our senses. He suggested that what we experience is only a limited version of true reality. Heidegger, meanwhile, explored the meaning of existence itself, asking what it truly means to be. In today's world, the nature of reality remains a key philosophical inquiry, urging us to question, is reality a fluid, ever-changing process, or is it something deeper and unchanging, beyond our perception? What is the good life? Aristotle believed that happiness depends upon ourselves, and that true happiness is found in living a virtuous life. For him, a life of virtue, guided by reason, leads to eudaimonia, a flourishing state of being. In contrast, Epicurus sought happiness in pleasure, famously stating, "Pleasure is the beginning and the end of a blessed life." His philosophy suggested that a life full of simple pleasures and the absence of pain is the path to happiness. Fast forward to the modern era, and John Stuart Mill introduced a more utilitarian approach, claiming that the greatest happiness of the greatest number defines the good life. For Mill, a good life is one that maximizes well-being for as many people as possible. Today we continue to ask, is the good life about personal virtue, the pursuit of pleasure, or the collective well-being of society? This age-old debate remains central to our understanding of what it means to live well. What does it mean to know yourself? Socrates famously advised, "Know thyself," urging individuals to engage in deep self-awareness and reflection. This timeless wisdom encourages us to understand our own thoughts, desires, and actions. In modern philosophy, Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, or overman, echoes this idea but takes it further. Nietzsche believed that to truly know oneself, one must go beyond societal constraints and create personal values, asserting that he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. For Nietzsche, self-knowledge isn't just about understanding who we are. It's about overcoming our limitations and becoming who we are capable of being. Today, this pursuit of self-discovery still challenges us. Is knowing yourself about understanding your place in the world, or is it about pushing beyond the limits of conventional thinking to create your own path? What is justice? In the world of philosophy, justice has always been a topic of intense discussion. Plato, in his work The Republic, famously defined justice as each person doing their own work, suggesting that justice exists when everyone fulfills their role in society, contributing to the common good. For Plato, justice is a harmony in the individual and society, where each part functions according to its nature. In the modern era, John Rawls reinterpreted justice in a way that resonated with contemporary political thought. Rawls argued that justice is the first virtue of social institutions, emphasizing that a just society ensures fairness by distributing equal rights to all its members. His theory of justice, particularly the two principles of justice, introduced the idea that inequalities in society are only acceptable if they benefit the least advantaged. Rawls stated, "Each person is to have an equal right to the most extensive basic liberty, and social and economic inequalities are to be arranged so that they are to the greatest benefit of the least advantaged." While Plato's view of justice focused on harmony and individual responsibility, Rawls took a more egalitarian approach, framing justice as a social contract that ensures fairness and equality. In today's world, the concept of justice continues to evolve, questioning how fairness is achieved in a complex society. Is justice about individual roles and duties, or is it about creating structures that ensure equal opportunities for all? This age-old philosophical question remains central in discussions of law, ethics, and politics, inviting us to ask, what does a truly just society look like? How did the world come into being? The question of how the world came to be has fascinated thinkers for centuries. Thales, one of the earliest Greek philosophers, famously claimed, "Everything comes from water," suggesting that water is the fundamental substance from which all things arise. For Anaximander, however, the origin of the world lay in a boundless, eternal principle he called the apeiron, or infinite. He believed that the cosmos emerged from this mysterious source, a kind of undetermined chaos that eventually gave rise to order. In modern times, the question of the universe's origins has taken on both philosophical and scientific dimensions. Stephen Hawking's groundbreaking work on cosmology brought the Big Bang theory to the forefront, proposing that the universe began from an incredibly dense and hot singularity about 13.8 billion years ago. As Hawking put it, the universe doesn't have a creator, it just is. His theory revolutionized how we think about the origins of space and time, showing that the universe may have no beginning or end in a conventional sense. On the other hand, philosopher Alain Badiou approached the question through a more abstract lens. He argued that the universe is an infinite mathematical structure, suggesting that existence itself is a product of mathematical laws beyond the material realm. According to Badiou, reality is not just a physical phenomenon, but a complex, ever-unfolding mathematical system that we, as humans, struggle to fully comprehend. From Thales' watery origins to the scientific marvel of the Big Bang and Badiou's mathematical universe, the search for the origins of the world continues to shape our understanding of reality. Whether we look to the material, the metaphysical, or the mathematical, the question remains: what truly gave birth to the cosmos, and what lies at the heart of existence? This ancient inquiry, blending philosophy and science, continues to push the boundaries of human thought. Why do people do evil? In ancient Greece, the question of why people commit evil acts was a cornerstone of moral philosophy. Epicurus, the Greek philosopher, argued that bad actions stem from ignorance. He believed that if people truly understood what brings happiness, they would avoid harmful behavior. According to Epicurus, death is nothing to us, and by focusing on rational pleasure, one could avoid the destructive nature of evil actions. In modern times, the question of evil has taken on psychological and political dimensions. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, suggested that evil is a product of the conflict between the id, our primal desires, and the ego, our rational self. In his view, when the balance between these forces is disrupted, humans are more prone to destructive behavior. Freud famously said, "The ego is not master in its own house," indicating that unconscious drives often lead to immoral actions. Hannah Arendt, a 20th century political theorist, proposed a radically different idea with her concept of the banality of evil. She argued that evil is often not a result of monstrous individuals, but rather ordinary people who fail to think critically about their actions. Arendt observed the trial of Adolf Eichmann, a Nazi officer responsible for mass deportations, and concluded that his evil actions were not driven by deep malice, but by a mindless adherence to duty. As Arendt put it, Eichmann was not a monster, but rather a very ordinary man who simply failed to ask questions. From Epicurus's focus on ignorance to Freud's psychological theory and Arendt's chilling observation, the question of why humans commit evil continues to challenge us. Is evil a product of ignorance, unconscious desire, or ordinary thoughtlessness? The answers to this question are as complex as human nature itself, inviting us to reflect on how we, as individuals and societies, can confront the darkness within. Do we have free will? The question of free will has puzzled philosophers for centuries, and ancient thinkers offered differing perspectives on the matter. The Stoics, for instance, believed that individuals are guided by fate. According to them, the universe operates through a strict, rational order, and humans must accept their roles within this cosmic plan. As Epicurus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." For the Stoics, true freedom lay in aligning one's will with the natural order. In contrast, Epicurus placed a stronger emphasis on individual freedom. He argued that the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain depend on personal choice, implying that humans have the power to shape their own lives. For Epicurus, free will was central to living a fulfilling life, stating that freedom is the absence of disturbance in the soul. Fast forward to modern philosophy, and the question of free will remains as contentious as ever. Jean-Paul Sartre, the French existentialist, famously declared, "Man is condemned to be free." For Sartre, humans are entirely free to choose their actions, but this freedom comes with the burden of responsibility. In his existentialist view, we are not determined by external forces, and every decision we make defines who we are. Yet not all philosophers agree with Sartre's radical freedom. Determinists argue that free will is an illusion, suggesting that every action we take is influenced by prior causes. According to determinism, our choices are the result of genetic predispositions, environmental factors, and past experiences, leaving little room for true freedom. From the Stoic belief in fate to Sartre's radical freedom and the deterministic viewpoint that denies free will, the debate continues. Do we truly control our actions, or are we simply products of forces beyond our control? This age-old question challenges us to examine our place in the world and the nature of our choices, while inviting us to consider whether freedom is an empowering reality or a philosophical illusion. What is the origin of all things? From the ancient philosophers to modern scientists, the question of the origin of everything has fascinated minds for centuries. Pythagoras, the mathematician and philosopher, believed that the universe was governed by a mathematical order. He saw the harmony of the cosmos as a reflection of numbers and ratios, suggesting that all things are numbers. To him, the very fabric of existence could be understood through the language of mathematics. Plato, on the other hand, took a different approach. He argued that the true origin of all things lies in the realm of ideas, or forms. According to Plato, the material world is merely a shadow of these perfect, unchanging ideas. What is real, he said, is not what we see, but the world of eternal forms. For Plato, the source of all creation was not physical matter, but the ideal, abstract principles that exist beyond the physical world. In the modern era, this quest for understanding has taken on a more scientific and metaphysical form. The rise of quantum physics has introduced new dimensions to the debate. Scientists like Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg have explored the strange and paradoxical behaviors of particles at the subatomic level, showing that the universe at its core operates on probabilities and uncertainties. For these thinkers, the origin of everything might not be found in predictable laws, but in the unpredictable nature of quantum mechanics. Philosophers like Karl Popper have taken a different angle, focusing on the scientific approach to understanding the origins of things. Popper introduced the principle of falsifiability, suggesting that scientific theories must be testable and capable of being proven false. He believed that science is an ongoing process of inquiry, where our understanding of the origins of things is always evolving. As we journey from Pythagoras' mathematical vision to Plato's realm of ideas and the quantum world of uncertainty, we see how the search for the origin of everything continues to evolve. Whether through numbers, abstract forms, or the mysteries of quantum physics, we are reminded that the question itself might be more important than the answer. As the philosopher Heraclitus wisely noted, the only constant in life is change, and perhaps the origin of all things lies not in a singular moment, but in the ever-shifting flow of existence itself. What is knowledge, and how is it acquired? The question of what knowledge truly is has intrigued philosophers for centuries, and it all begins with a simple yet profound statement from Socrates. "The only thing I know is that I know nothing." This paradoxical claim becomes the foundation of epistemology, the study of knowledge. For Socrates, true wisdom begins with acknowledging our ignorance, opening the door to genuine learning. In his eyes, knowledge was not just a matter of knowing facts, but about recognizing the limits of our understanding. Fast forward to the modern era, and René Descartes offers a different approach to knowledge. "Cogito, ergo sum," he declares. "I think, therefore I am." Descartes sought a firm, unshakable foundation for knowledge, grounded in the certainty of thought itself. For him, reason and rationality were the bedrock upon which all knowledge could be built. In a world filled with doubt and uncertainty, Descartes believed that our ability to think critically and logically was the key to unlocking true knowledge. However, in the 20th century, philosophers like Michel Foucault challenged traditional views of knowledge. Foucault argued that knowledge is not just an objective truth to be discovered, but rather something that is deeply intertwined with power. He believed that systems of knowledge shape our society and influence how we understand ourselves and the world around us. Knowledge is not for understanding, but for action, Foucault asserted, emphasizing that knowledge serves not only as a tool for comprehension, but also for control and dominance within societal structures. From Socrates' humble acknowledgement of ignorance to Descartes' rational certainty and Foucault's critical analysis of knowledge's connection to power, the journey of understanding knowledge has evolved into a complex and layered concept. Knowledge is not simply about accumulating facts or truths. It is about questioning, thinking critically, and recognizing the deeper forces that shape our understanding. Whether through self-reflection, reason, or societal context, the way we acquire knowledge is as dynamic and ever-changing as the world around us. As we search for truth, we are reminded of the timeless wisdom of Socrates. The unexamined life is not worth living. What is the relationship between gods and humans? Throughout history, the relationship between gods and humans has been a source of fascination, debate, and storytelling. In ancient Greece, mythology became the lens through which this complex relationship was explored. Gods were not distant, impersonal entities. They were deeply entwined in the lives of humans, often influencing their fate, desires, and actions. These divine beings embodied the forces of nature, love, anger, and revenge, often reflecting the strengths and weaknesses of humankind. Aristotle, in his pursuit of rational explanations, sought to ground the existence of God in reason. His concept of the first cause suggested that there must be an initial, uncaused cause, the divine being, who set everything into motion. For Aristotle, this rational framework served as a foundation for understanding not only the universe, but the role of the divine in the grand scheme of things. The gods, in this sense, became not just figures of myth, but entities that could be understood through reason and logic. As we move into the modern age, philosophers like Søren Kierkegaard approach the divine relationship from a different angle. Kierkegaard, in his exploration of faith, argued that the connection between God and the individual requires a leap of faith. According to Kierkegaard, reason alone could not bridge the gap between humans and the divine. Instead, belief in God necessitates an act of trust beyond logic, an existential surrender to something greater than oneself. Faith is not a matter of knowledge, but of belief, he said, underscoring the profound leap an individual must take to truly embrace the divine. In contrast, thinkers like Richard Dawkins represent the modern critique of divine belief. As an outspoken atheist, Dawkins argues that faith in a deity is based on superstition rather than science. In works like The God Delusion, he challenges the very concept of God from a scientific perspective, claiming that the existence of a deity cannot be proven and is therefore an unfounded belief. For Dawkins, the relationship between humans and gods is not one of divine influence but rather a human-made construct, shaped by cultural and psychological factors. The relationship between gods and humans, from ancient mythology to modern philosophy, is as varied as the ways in which humans understand themselves. Whether through mythological tales, rational thought, leaps of faith, or scientific skepticism, the search for meaning in the divine connection continues to evolve. As Kierkegaard once said, subjectivity is truth, a reminder that how we interpret our relationship with the divine is often more about our own inner journey than external proof. As we close this journey through the great questions of philosophy, it's clear that these age-old inquiries continue to shape the way we see the world. From the ancient Greeks to modern philosophers, these thinkers have challenged our understanding of truth, morality, freedom, and the divine. As Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," reminding us that to question is to grow, and to grow is to truly live. In our exploration of these profound questions, we've touched upon the core of what it means to be human. Whether it's the search for knowledge, the meaning of happiness, or our relationship with the divine, philosophy offers a mirror to our own lives. It invites us to look deeper, to think critically, and most importantly, to never stop questioning. After all, as Albert Einstein aptly put it, the important thing is not to stop questioning. Thank you for taking this philosophical journey with us. May it inspire you to ponder these questions further, to engage with the ideas that challenge you, and to always keep searching for your own truths in this vast, ever-changing world.